You mentioned that you've been making music for 12 years, 15 years, probably longer than that.
Yeah, that's for Junkie. That's
for Junkie XL, and I'd love to talk about your roots and upbringing with music. But it's funny because now the most happening part of dance and electronic music is a rock and dance fusion with bands like Justice and Digitalism and even newer things like MGMT, and it's just really fresh. But it's funny because it's something that you've been doing for so long. You have really pioneered that rock dance fusion. And you are considered a dance artist, but it's always been with more attitude and more edge. And it's interesting, this album now is something that a 16-year-old kid who's just getting into music and is so excited can probably relate to. Are you excited about what you see going on around in music today, and do you feel connected to it? You've been doing it for so long, I'm just curious.
No, I think it's one of the most interesting times. It's also a time period with a huge amount of paradoxes. You know, at the same time, the music industry, as we know it, the record industry, almost seems to go down under, and everybody's screaming death and murder and fire. And at the same time, the most amazing music comes out. I mean, it's insane. I mean, if you're on MySpace and I click on a friend on my page and I see what bands they have listed, in their top 10, and you click further and you click further and you click further, and you just hear all this music that I've never heard of in my life, but they all have like a considerable amount of friends, and some even don't yet. But the music is unbelievable. And when it comes to the stylistic end of things, I felt like in the time period 95 till 97, 98, we were in a similar time period where rock and dance really seemed to be really close. If you look at the lineups of festivals back in the day, you could see Prodigy, Chemical Brothers, Daft Punk even, back in the day. I was playing loads of these festivals, but at the same time you could see the Chili Peppers and the Verve and Oasis and all these great rock bands. And there's a similar development going on right now as well. Plus, even better, the electronic music scene is really picking up on things that happen, in the alternative music scene, and vice versa. And what I'm trying to do with this album is on one hand, the traditional music styles are still there, the dance music styles like progressive, techno, trance, house, and on the other side there's the electro clash, electro punk scene. With the bands that you just mentioned as the upfront bands. But that seems a completely different scene, the people coming from completely different backgrounds, the audience comes from a completely different backgrounds. And what I'm trying to do with this album is actually, try to make a bridge between those two music styles.
Right.